It was all good knowledge to learn. I've been in this department for 10 years. I got the job here just as a trainee from scratch. There were no qualifications or anything in scientific glass blowing at the time, so no experience was necessary. And I came, there was Malcolm, and the boss at the time was Peter Coyne, and they both taught me all here.
Because it's one of the thing about glass blowing is everybody can probably do a little bit, you know, but it's getting that you get to a certain point and you know fine well that people, a certain amount of people won't be able to get past it. It's a skill level, it's like a glass ceiling. You know, that people won't be able to have the skill or the sort of, you need to be a very tenacious character, you need to have that sort of commitment to fail.
Yeah. you can't be put off by failure at all.
Because you will just fail all the time, and it takes a lot of practice to get to the point where you know everything just gels. When I was younger, there was still a company called Bibby Sterling, and when I joined the university I did basic training here, then I went down to Bibby Sterling to do like an intensive training course over 3 months with like in an industry setting, clocking in and clocking out and working with all the lads in there. And when I came back, I had that sort of edge, the industry, the speed, which a lot of us, I mean, Ray Gordon and my old colleagues, they were fast because they had been pilots in the past, but a lot of university glass blowers are very slow. There's nothing wrong with that, they're very meticulous, they're very precise, but they don't have that sort of speed. It just gives you that edge on doing a job.
And yeah, I was lucky to have 2 glass blowers, but also like who had university and industry experience as well. So, because me being taught in-house at a university, it's just a completely different kind of glass blowing to how it was in industry. But I kind of had the best of both worlds with Malcolm and Peter teaching us. And they both did things slightly differently, so I learned a lot. I think the creativity, for me anyway, sort of came after. Like, I learned, and it was all about, meeting the requirements of the scientific side of things, just making sure it does the job. And then once I got to a certain level where that was more comfortable and I felt like I had room to kind of start. But so if I make something, it looks different the way Malcolm makes something, even the same object, slight little individual touches and things. Every now and then there'll be like a job comes in where they have a vague idea of what they want to do, but they don't really know what they need to do it. And when we're allowed to do most of the design work, that's when, so it's kind of creative in a scientific manner. Everything's got to have a function, everything's got to have a reason for being there, but it doesn't have to be in any set manner.
I've just recently been doing some spiders. I mean, I haven't done a lot of inclusion, marbles and things like that.
Pendants occasionally. We do Christmas marbles as well. At Christmas time, their orders start coming in probably about November time. And Malcolm showed me how to do those, so I'll do the odd one now, occasionally.
But at times we don't really have. It would be nice to have lots of time to do things like that, but we don't really get the time here to do it. I mean, when Peter was here, he showed us all the things he used to do.
He obviously told us about his experience making chips and bottles and things, and that's what we've got here. We've dug out all of his old sails and just little bits and pieces. And it's useful even for scientific glass blowers to know how to make things like that, just because we predominantly work with tubing, but rod work does come in very useful sometimes, and just having that little bit of experience, it does behave very differently. And some people would see you making a ship in a bottle and think, alright, that's not very scientific, but actually it's very useful to do things like that every now and then, because it just takes you out of your comfort zone a bit.
Doing things like rigging on the ships, that alone teaches you, it's a transferable skill, because you've got to get the joints out the end of the, so when you pull the rigging down you have to get rid of the joints. If you don't, it'll start pinging off. So it also makes you think about how you can incorporate that in a piece of scientific glassware, because there's times where you have to do some very fine work.
It was all good knowledge. It's a shame that there aren't more places offering training. And I really remember Malcolm showing me one day like a polymer rig from Lee and Hutchins' lab, which is just like all different flasks and stopcocks and things, and saying, I was just like amazed by it. I was just like, how on earth have you made that? And he was like, well, you'll be making them one day. And I couldn't believe that would be the case. And then we fast forward a few years and that's it. It's amazing. You know, if you just stick at it, what you can accomplish with it. There's a little newspaper clipping from 1986